Hello guys, today is Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. It is about 10:30 a.m. and I am going to set out on a massive quest. I'm going to try to read a 500-page novel in one day. I'm giving myself 24 hours to see if I can read a 500-page novel in one day. This would be by far the most I've read in one day. I think my current record for one day is something like 220, 230 pages. So this is more than double that. And I figured what better book to do it than the Pulitzer Prize winning, one of the best novels supposedly of the last 50 years, All the Light We Cannot See. This book is 530 pages and I'm going to see if I can read it in a day. So let's get started. So this is my optimal reading position. I've got my drink here, I got good lighting, I'm sitting at a table with no distractions, and my reading speed is about 40 pages an hour, 50 if the book is good. So hopefully this book will be good. Will take me about 10 hours, but obviously that's not completely true because as I read more, I'm going to get more fatigued, more tired. It will get harder for me to concentrate, but I will go as long as I can. Alright guys, so it has been 8 hours since I started. I have finished over 200 pages. I am almost halfway done, but my pace has slowed dramatically. I've just been getting distracted by phone calls and meals and other things, but I really think I need to buckle down if I want to get this thing done in 24 hours. So, time to put the pedal to the metal. Okay, so now 12 hours have elapsed and I'm just over 300 pages in. At a certain point when I was about halfway done, the text just started to cross. I started to get way too tired and I had to take a nap, but now I'm back at it with a vengeance.
Guys, it's 5:15 a.m. I've been at it for over 18 hours at this point with all my breaks and naps and everything else, and I'm actually going to do it. I've got 40 pages left. I'm going to finish a 500+ page book in under 24 hours. It's done. It's done. The book is complete. So I can't believe I got it done in under 24 hours, but I am exhausted, so now I am going to go to sleep and I will let my brain process the book and I will have a review for it in the next couple of days. So now that I have had time to sleep and I have had time to think about this book, I think that this book was stupendous. All the Light We Cannot See, okay? It won the Pulitzer Prize, and I think it should have also won the Booker Prize. The author said it took him 10 years to write this book. Sir, thank you very much for your contribution to humanity. Your story is going to live in the hearts and minds of people for a long time to come, and deservedly so. So when I set out to read a 500-page book in a day, the only way I'd be able to do it is if everything was perfect about the book. The premise, the characters, the plot, the writing, the journey, everything. And the author delivers on all of those fronts. So the story is a World War II historical fiction novel
that follows these two main kids. One is a German boy named Werner. He's a very precocious young kid. He likes radios. He eventually joins the Hitler Youth and then the Nazi army, and he works with radio signals using triangulation to try to locate the enemy. And then the other main character is this blind French girl named Marie-Laure. It's probably Marie-Laure or something, but I don't speak French, so Marie-Laure. And she's waiting out in a house with her father and her uncle, trying to wait out the end of the war. And one of the things that I found so deep and moving about these characters is you sympathize with them because you follow them from childhood. So Werner, for example, because you know who he was as a boy, and you know that he, like all children, was born with a heart of gold, didn't deserve to be in the position that he was in. So even though he's in the Nazi army and he's responsible indirectly for people's deaths because he's using the radio signals to locate the soldiers of the other army, which then are going to be killed, you realize that he didn't have much of a choice. From the time he was 10, the army took an interest in him as a young boy, put him in this program, tossed him into the army, gave him a uniform, gave him a rifle, and said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to help us to kill those people over there. And he hated it, and he didn't want to be part of that, but he didn't see himself as having a choice. And Marie-Laure, it's bad enough to grow up without the gift of sight, to grow up blind. But then to grow up blind in World War II in France and to be deprived of so many of the things that we take for granted. I mean, paper is a scarce resource at this time. Where's our next meal going to come from? Even if we get food, what food is it going to be? Oh, another stale loaf of bread and nothing else. So again, you sympathize with these characters and feel terrible that they had their lives stolen from them, at least their childhood stolen from them. And then eventually you get the notion at the beginning of the book that their paths are going to eventually cross, and you just don't know how. And that's what keeps you turning the page, because you want to find out. And the build-up and the anticipation is perfectly paced for the ending. I was getting kind of drowsy during the last 80 pages, but it was so worth it. As soon as the last 80 pages or so happened, I perked up and I plowed right through it. And I think that everybody should pick up this book at their bookstore, their library, and try it. It is wonderful. And I think, again, that the writing is perfect. It's not too dense, so it's not like you have to read a page and then read it again and then read it again to think about what the author is saying. It flows, it's smooth, and these characters are going to be with me for years and years to come. So thank you very much, Anthony Doerr, for all the light we cannot see. We all come into existence as a single cell, smaller than a speck of dust, much smaller. Multiply, divide, add and subtract. Matter changes hands, atoms flow in and out, molecules pivot, proteins stitch together, mitochondria send out their oxidative dictates. We begin as a microscopic electrical swarm, the lungs, the brain, the heart. 40 weeks later, 6 trillion cells get crushed in the vise of our mother's birth canal and we howl. Then the world starts in on us.